everyone. I have a total body prenatal Pilates class for you today, and we are going to incorporate a yoga block into it. I'm using a cork block. You can use a foam block. At one point, we'll kind of use it as a weight. So just a heads up, a cork block is going to be a little heavier, a little harder. Foam block will make the upper body work a smidge easier, but it doesn't matter. Either works. Now, if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Nicole. I am a STOT-trained Pilates instructor and a pregnancy and postpartum corrective exercise specialist. So you are in good hands. However, I am not there in the room with you. So you are going to first and foremost listen to your doctor, and you're going to listen to your body. If anything doesn't feel right during class, you're feeling dizzy, lightheaded, then stop. Okay, and I think that's my whole little speech. I think we can get to it. We're going to start in a kneeling position, but we're going to sit on the block. So I want you to slide the block between your legs. Whatever height or width works best for you and is most comfortable. And we're going to start with just some diaphragmatic breathing. So let's make sure that we're upright, tall through the spine. And then I want you to take your hands at like the base of your bum. If you're earlier in your pregnancy and you're not showing, just lower abdominals, that's where we want our hands. And we're just going to practice diaphragmatic breathing, or 360 breathing, it's called. So the inhale is through the nose. And as we inhale, we expand the rib cage three-dimensionally and we relax our pelvic floor. Exhale is through the mouth. It is an audible, slow exhale, and as you exhale, the pelvic floor lifts up gently. You brace through that abdominal wall, so almost picture you are hugging the baby up and in, and you should feel your bum move a little away from your hands, okay? That's why I wanted your hands here, so you can feel on that exhale the little draw up and in, the little moving away from your hands. We inhale through the nose. Slow out through the mouth. Can you feel the engagement of your core? Can you feel that bump move a little away from your hands? Keep going like that. Now, depending on the pregnancy, depending how strong your transverse abdominis is, you may get a big pull up and away from your hands. Or you may just feel a little bit of a pull away from your hands. But either way, I want you to feel that engagement, that little pull of the belly up and in. Few more like this. This breath work, this practice of connecting to the pelvic floor and the deep core, so important to do during pregnancy. So even if you don't have time to work out one day, you can't do a whole class, or you're just not up for it, if you set aside 5 minutes to just practice this type of breathing, that is awesome, and that'll go a long way. Last time. And then from here, let's just tent the fingertips to either side. And we're going to do a fluid side bend, opening up through the sides of our body, up and over. Things can get sticky through our mid-spine and rib cage area as we progress in pregnancy, and things move around to accommodate the baby. So we want to try to stay mobile through this mid-back and the sides of our body and our rib cage as best we can. You may find it gets harder and harder as you progress in your pregnancy, but it is something we want to be mindful of. Let's do one more side bend to either side. And then coming up through center, I want you to reach your arms forward, and we're going to trace an arm circle. You can start on the right side mirroring me. Right arm is going to circle up and back. My bench is in the way, so I'm going to tap the bench. You could bring your fingertips all the way to the floor, bring it back, and then take it over to the left. Now you can stay here just circling the arm within the shoulder joint, or you can add in a little rotation so that as the arm circles, you rotate open through the mid-spine in that direction. If adding in this open rotation causes you to feel any pulling or discomfort, then just circle the arm within the shoulder joint. Let's do one more to either side. And then coming back through center, your hands are facing in towards each other. They're about shoulders distance apart. So I want you to picture you're kind of holding the ends of a paper towel roll. And from here, we're going to retract and protract the shoulder blades. So we're seeing our arms sliding back and forward, but we're really thinking about where this movement is originating, our scapula. So I'm going to turn to face the side to give you a better view, but keep going. So your shoulder blades are gliding across your back in towards each other and then wide kind of towards your armpits. Now, as you do this, try not to change the shape of your spine. So we're not jutting our neck forward and back as we do this. And we are not arching into the back or flaring the ribs as we do this. It is just the shoulder blades gliding across the back of the rib cage. We're going to keep this movement going. We're going to grab the block in 3, 2, 1. I want you to grab the block and come to a tabletop position. And you're going to want the block on medium height so that your hand can kind of grip the thinner edge of it. So we're going to put the block under our left hand. Knees are hips distance apart. And our right arm is going to be at a hover so that we're level through the shoulders. So left hand elevated, right hand hover, open through the chest, level. And then from here, we're going to retract and protract just this left shoulder blade like we were doing. So the left shoulder blade glides into midline, and then it glides wide as you push that block away. It glides in and out. Now I want you to keep doing this, but I want you to add in a rotation. So as the shoulder blade retracts as it comes in, I want you to rotate your chest towards that inner left arm, planting your right palm on the mat. And then as you exhale, you're going to protract the shoulder blade and you're going to rotate open. That right hand lifts even farther away from the mat. So you're kind of opened up towards me. And then you rotate, close it in towards that inner left arm. Now I cue mirror image so that when I am facing the camera, you're mirroring me. So my right is your left. And I know sometimes that can be a little confusing when we're in a side position, but I am going to eventually open up towards you. So that is my justification with my left and right. So I always do mirror image. And if that does confuse you, I apologize. There's really no perfect solution because if I cue my right as your right, then when I turn to face you, then it's confusing because we're flip-flopped. All right, give me one more. And then I just want you to level off through the chest. So your chest is square, your right hand is at a hover. And now let's trace nice big circles with that right arm. You're going to sweep it forward, back, palm to midline, and down. Reach it forward, circle it back, and down. Let's make sure that our left shoulder is right over the left wrist. And just give me a soft unlock of that left elbow. I want you to make sure you're not locked out and hyperextended, which I just was. 2 more circles, and then you're going to hold this right arm back. So next time that right arm circles back, I want you to hold. So the palm is facing in towards midline. It's lifted. We're open through the chest. We're going to take this into some bird dog work, really focusing on deep core. Keep this right arm stretching back. So I want you to inhale to prepare. As you exhale, feel the lift of the pelvic floor. Feel that hug of the baby up in towards you. And I want you to take your left leg and I want you to reach it back, tucking the toes under on the ground so the ball of your foot is planted. Inhale, bring that left knee back down to the mat. Exhale, first connect to the core. Then reach that leg long and back. Inhale, bring it in. Keep moving like that. So we're slowing this down. We're moving with our breath. Think of emptying the air from the bottom up. So exhale, pelvic floor, lower abdominals, then ribs move in and down. Twice more. Next time that leg goes straight, you're going to hold it straight back. Now I want you to take this left ankle and I want you gently pointed through it. And then I want you to reach long through the leg, firing through the quads, and just lift it up to a hover. Now you're not arching into the lower back, so the leg does not need to come to a very high hover at all. Your hand is elevated, our body's at a diagonal. So it may just be a couple inches off the mat. Now we're going to take this right arm and this left leg, and on an inhale, you're going to sweep them out in opposition. So right arm to the right, left leg to the left. As you exhale, bring them back into midline. Stay long and neutral through the spine. Inhale, limbs move out. Exhale. Hips are staying level to the ground. We're stable through this left shoulder, so you're pushing the block away, unlocked through the elbow. Give me 3 more. 2. Last time. Sweep everything into center. Bring your knee down to the mat. Now you're going to grip the block. I want you to shift your hips back so your bum is kind of hovering over the heels. We're in this hinged position. Right arm is still reaching back. Grab the block in your left hand and reach the left arm overhead. We're going to scissor the arms on the exhale. So you're going to exhale, connect to the core, sweep right arm forward, left arm back, reaching that block up, up, up and back. Reach the tailbone back, open through the chest. Exhale, scissor switch. Stay for the inhale, exhale, switch. Now, if you are feeling pressure down on your pelvic floor or out on your abdominal wall that you cannot control, then I want you to sit your bum down on your heels and just lean forward like this. See if that's better. You may need to drop the block for that just so that it doesn't hit the ground, but you can take it down low like this, and you can even come upright with the torso like this to modify, okay? We're going to stop with the block behind us in 4, 3, 2, 1. Sweep. So now the block is behind you, and just give me a little pulse up of the arms, a little pulse up. Make sure that you don't lose connection to the abdominals. We're open through the chest, reach the tailbone back. There's not an excessive arch to our lower back. Little pulse. Now we're going to change the movement of the arms. I'm just going to turn to face you so that you can see. We're going to sweep the arms out into a reverse fly position in 3, pulse 2, hold those arms long. Now on an exhale, connect to your core, sweep the arms out wide in a T. Shoulder blades are gently retracted in towards each other. Palms face down towards the ground like you just did a reverse fly. And then sweep it back in. Block goes back. Sweep them out wide. Right arm forward, left arm back. We take it wide. Trying to really connect to our mid-back here. We're going to take this into a reverse fly in 3, 2, 1. Arms go out in that T shape. Reverse fly. So you bring the block towards the other hand. Open the arms up wide. So we're seeing our arms open and close here like bird wings, but really think about where the move is coming from. Your back. It is the shoulder blades gliding across your back, squeezing into each other. Maintain length through the back of the neck. We're going to start this series from the top. In 4, we pass the block to the other hand. In 3, in 2, 1, pass the block into your right hand. We're going to come back to tabletop position. You want block on medium height so that your hand can grip that thinner width of it. So we're going to start by finding that square position. So knees are hips distance apart, shoulders are square, chest is open, your left hand is at a hover, and we're just going to retract and protract this right shoulder blade. Unlock through the right elbow for me. So the shoulder blade slides in towards midline, then you push the block away. Slide it in, push it away. So the arm is staying straight. Your torso is moving down and up as the scapula slides across your back. Now, let's add in that twist. So as the shoulder blade retracts, we're going to bring our left hand all the way to the mat, rotating through your mid-spine ever so slightly so your chest is angled towards the inside of that right elbow. And then we push off. Rotate open to the left, down to the right, open to the left. That left hand plants on the mat and lifts away. So we're getting a little bit of rotation through the mid-spine, getting movement and stability through that scapula. All important stuff to work on as we become increasingly expanded in the front side of our body and weighted in the front side of our body as that baby grows, as our boobs grow. Just a lot of added weight in the front side of our body. 2 more. Last time, and then you're going to come through center. So that left hand is at a hover, square through the shoulders. And from here, you're just going to trace a circle with that left arm. I want you to reach it forward overhead, circle it back and around. Mobilizing through that shoulder joint. Two more circles, and then you're going to hold that arm back. Next time that left arm circles back, I want you to hold it. So the palm is facing into midline, arm is reaching back and lifted, open through the chest. We're going to do that bird dog, so the right leg is going to move. We inhale to prepare. Exhale, connect to the pelvic floor in your deep core. When you feel that connection, we reach the right leg back. You can tuck the toes under, plant the foot on the mat. Inhale, bring it back into tabletop. Exhale, breath first, then move the leg. And on that exhale, it's not just a sucking in or a crunching of your rib cage. Think pelvic floor, deep core. Again, it's that lift up and away of the bump. Really trying to stay stable as you do this. So as the leg reaches back, we're not rocking over to the left. Give me 3 more. Next time that leg goes straight, you're going to hold it straight. I want you pointed through the right ankle. I want you to reach long through the leg, fire through the quads to hold it straight, and then we're going to lift it up to a hover. Does not need to be a very high hover. We're going to sweep the arms out in opposition, arm and leg out in opposition, I should say. Exhale, you're going to bring it back into midline. Inhale, right leg to the right, left arm to the left. Exhale, sweep them back in. Now we're not crunching into our side body as we do this, so think equal length through both sides of the waist. It is just the limbs moving out from midline and back 4 more times. Twice more. Sweep it into midline. Keep this left arm reaching back. Bring your knee to the mat. Now start to shift your bum back so it's hovering over the heels. So we're in this hinged position, long spine open through the chest. Grab your block, and I want you to reach that right arm overhead. Exhale, scissor the arms. Switch. Stay for the inhale. Exhale. In 4, you're going to hold the block back. 3, 2, 1. Next time the right arm sweeps back, so the block is back, palm facing up, little pulse of the arms, up, up, without arching into the lower back. There's the natural arch to the lower back, but we're not letting it be excessive. We're going to move from this position to the reverse fly. I'm just going to change my body angle to give you a better view. In 4, pulse 3, 2, 1. From this lifted position, we sweep the arms out wide in a T, palms face the floor. We're in this reverse fly position, and we sweep them back in towards each other. Moving with our breath. Sweeping them wide and in. We finish with a reverse fly in 4, 3, 2. Keep the arms lifted. Last time, when those arms come out wide to the side, pause them there, and then reverse fly. It's like the opposite of giving someone a hug, pulling away. Now as the arms open up wide, don't jut your head forward, so maintain length of the back of the neck. And try not to flare the ribs. So we maintain the position of our spine. We're going to center off before we move into some more unilateral work. We're going to bring the mat to the ground, just a little bit more tabletop work. It's going to be quick just to center off. In 4, 3, 2, and 1. So I want you to bring the block on the ground, medium height, in between your knees, but your knees aren't squeezing it to start. Your knees can be a little wider, okay? So knees can be about hips distance apart, hands, shoulders distance apart, spread out through those hands. So we're in a tabletop position. I want you to tuck the toes under. Now what we're gonna do is on an exhale, we'll connect to the core. We're gonna lift our knees up to a bear plank, but as we do, we're gonna squeeze the knees in against the block and we're gonna pick it up. And then when we inhale, we're gonna lower it down and release it, okay? So some more deep core work, mixing in a little adductor connection. Inhale here. Exhale, feel the pelvic floor lift. Feel the core engage. Knees squeeze in on that block. Pick it up, lift the knees to a hover. Inhale, release the block, back down to the mat. Exhale. Inhale down. Keep going like this. We're just gonna stay here, moving in this for about 60 seconds. Now, if this move is a little too intense, if you're not managing the pressure well, you're feeling pressure down on the pelvic floor, a heaviness, or maybe you're noticing bulging through your center line where diastasis can form, then we would want to back off, and I want you to keep your knees on the mat, and instead just exhale, tap one hand to one shoulder, exhale, other side, okay? So that's going to be your modification. Give me 4 more. 3. 2. Last time, 1. Drop the block, knees down. You can sit your bum back on your heels. You can roll out those wrists for me. Okay, so we're gonna come into some more unilateral work. We're gonna do side body work. We're gonna have our hip elevated on the block. So mirroring me, we're gonna put the block under our left hip. I would have it down low so you have the widest surface area to sit on. And we're just going to bring kind of our left butt cheek onto the block, our right butt cheek off of it, okay? And then we're gonna bring our legs into a 90-90 position, okay? So opposing 90-degree angles. So we're open through the front of this back hip. If this is uncomfortable, even with your hips elevated, try pulling the heels in so it's more like triangles, and sometimes that can feel better. Now, to further give ourselves a little more comfort, we're going to lean over to the left, and you're just going to tent your left fingertips on the ground. So having this angle of the torso instead of this, hopefully that just feels a little more open through this right hip. All right, now I want you to take the right hip, pull it forward a little bit so you're stacked left on top of right, and we're going to keep this right foot down on the floor to start, and we're just going to lift up the knee, finding a little bit of external rotation. It does not have to be a lot of movement. So you're going to exhale, lift to the pelvic floor, connect to the core. Can you peel that right knee off the mat? It may just be an inch or two, and then lower it down. Now I know I just cued you can do triangle position with the legs instead of 90-90, but I would do 90-90 with this one so that there's not as much pressure on the knee. If you have the heel in like this, it may be uncomfortable for your knee. This front one though, you can absolutely pull the heel in if that works best for you. Now when you lift the knee, I don't want you to roll open through the hips. So the movement is not a twisting of the pelvis, it is the leg within the hip joint. We're getting those deep hip rotators. And I want there to be a little pause at the top, really squeeze, and then lower down. So we have a hold coming up. All you're going to do is lift and you're just going to hold at that end range of motion. We're not going for biggest movement you can muster, okay? It's just the highest lift you can do without rolling open through your hips. In 4, 3, 2. Next time the knee lifts up, you're just going to hold at that hover. Hips are square. You're reaching long through the thigh. You're open through the front of the hips, rotated open. So just picture the head of that thigh bone wrapping open. And continue to breathe as we hold here. The past 4 days, we've had contractors at the house installing an HVAC system, a split system. And so I can finally film again, which is nice. I couldn't film when they were here. And also now we have this awesome, quiet AC system. A few more seconds holding here. Really reach long, long, long. We're going to do the opposite motion up next. We're going to do internal rotation in 3, 2, 1. Lower that knee down. So adjust. Make sure you didn't roll open through the hips. Oops, I had apparently. And so now we're going to do the opposite, internal rotation. So knee stays down, foot lifts up. Exhale. Pick that foot up. Ooh, barely any movement. Inhale, lower. Exhale. Lift up through the foot and lower. Don't be frustrated if it's a really small movement, okay? We're isolating those tiny muscles surrounding the hip. But back to my HVAC system that literally no one cares about except me. But up until now, we've had window units for AC. So when I film a class, I have to shut all the AC off because they're loud. But now we have this quiet system so I can have the AC going while I film class. It is such a luxury. In 4, we're going to hold the internal rotation. 3, 2. Next time that foot lifts up, we hold. So now we're just thinking head of the femur rotating inward in that hip joint. Really hold. Woo! We're going to keep the leg parallel up next for the lifting and lowering. Keep holding, keep holding. Don't lose height. You're here for 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the foot down. Okay, so now we're going to keep the leg parallel. We're going to lift the whole leg up and down. If you need some more space, you can walk this hand out. The lower the angle of your torso, the easier it will be to get a little lift off. The more upright you are, the harder it is going to be to lift that leg, okay? So find kind of the angle that works for you. Stay lifted and engaged through the obliques. Exhale. Whole leg lifts to a hover. Pause at the top with control lower. Exhale. Think of reaching long through this thigh bone. Lengthen, lift. Woo, that is hard. We don't care about height. It can be ½ centimeter off the floor as long as you're getting lift off. Really challenging the abductors, outer line of the leg and hip. We're still moving with our breath. Everything comes back to that lift of the pelvic floor. Connect to the deep core, then move. You can probably guess where we're heading next. A hold. In 4, 3, 2. Next time that leg lifts up, we hold. Hold it at a hover. Make sure you're open through the front of the hips, so you might have to swing it back a little bit, squeezing into the glutes though, not arching the back, connected to the core. Keep reaching long through the leg and up. Breathe through it. We're going to kick this right leg straight. We're going to do some rocking motion with the upper body. Keep holding. In 4, you're going to kick this leg straight. 3, 2, I want you to kick this right leg straight. Woo! You might need to walk this hand out. Now we're going to bend the knee as we come up right through the torso. So I want you to reach the arms out in a T as you exhale. Connect to the core, start to bend this right knee, slowly come up, and you're gonna let the right leg lower down to the mat. But I want it slow, so I don't want you to slam the leg down. I want you to really control it. Think of holding the leg at a hover as long as you can. Now we're just gonna reverse it. Exhale, brace through the core. Start to teeter back over to the left. Kick the legs, the right leg straight as the left hand lowers down to the ground. Exhale, bend the knee, come up, keep that right leg as a hover as long as you can, and then you can lower it down to the mat. Stay for an inhale. Exhale. Teeter and kick that leg straight. Stay for an inhale. Exhale. Move. So we hold for the inhale, we move on the exhale, just so that we make sure we're really supporting our core here. We're going to come into some more mermaid focused work, really getting into the obliques. So just 2 more like this, and then we're going to hold upright. Last time. We rock it to the side, kicking this leg straight. We come upright, holding this leg at a hover as long as we can. It's slow, it's slow, it's slow, it's slow. Lower it down to the ground. All right, so hips square, legs in 90-90 position, or you can pull it in for triangles. We're going to do a mermaid side bend. Bottom fingertips will come to the ground for support. You're mirroring me. As you inhale, I want you to sweep the right arm up overhead. As you exhale, connect to these right side obliques to bring yourself upright. Inhale, side bend. Left fingertips can come down for support, but just light. Exhale. Instead of pushing off the bottom hand, think right side obliques contract and draw you back up. Now, this right side butt cheek and hip still working here, okay? So think of squeezing into the right side butt cheek as you come up and lower down. Next time we lower down, we're going to stay there. You're going to come into your mermaid side bend. You have your left fingertips on the floor for support. You don't have to be super low, okay? Now, open through the chest. On an exhale, we're going to remove our support hand. So exhale, you're fired through the right side glutes. You brace the core. You lift through the pelvic floor. You remove your support hand. Inhale, return the support to the ground. Exhale. Pull it away. Inhale, return it. So as we go throughout this class, we're constantly checking in with how we are managing pressure through our abdominal wall. If you see doming through the center line, back off, okay? We don't want that. If you feel heaviness, pressure down on the pelvic floor, like you're not able to get that little lift of the pelvic floor, that would be another sign that you may be doing more harm than good and you want to dial down the intensity or you want to eliminate the exercise. We are going to just finish with a hold. If you want, you can take this top arm and reach it at a diagonal instead of having it overhead. That'll make it a little less intense. Either way, pick your arm position, and then the next time the support hand comes away, we hold. Whew, it'll be a quick hold. You got it. Give me 4, 3, left hand down, and 2, 1. Bring the left hand down, and then you can just fully side bend over to the side. Might feel good to add in a little rotation. But again, if rotating this big causes any pulling, just stay in the side bend. All right, so we gotta do that whole thing on the other side. So we're going to come up. Actually, let's do one more thing that kind of feels good. I want you to lean back, scoot your butt into the center of the block, feet wide, hands behind us for support, and then just windshield wiper the knees a little bit. Kind of flush out that hip joint before we do the other side. So we're gonna do the other side. We're going to quickly center off with another round of those bear plank lifts, and then we cool down, okay? So we're getting to the end of class here. All right, let's come up. And we're going to switch the block so that now it is under our right butt cheek. And again, you want it on the low side so you have the most surface area there. It's just going to be more comfortable. And then we're going to find that 90-90 position. If having your front right leg at a 90-degree angle is uncomfortable, pull the heel in, okay? The back leg, though, I would suggest you have it at that 90-degree angle. It's going to be more comfortable when we lift the knee. All right, now pull this left hip forward a little bit so the hips are square and stacked on top of each other. We're going to lean to the side, which is going to make it a little easier to move through this hip. If you need to give yourself even more room, keep walking that hand out, okay? We're active through the side body, active through the shoulder, pressing the mat away, open through the chest. We're going to start with external rotation. Keep the foot planted. Exhale, brace through the core, lift the knee up. So it is the thigh bone rotating outward in the hip joint. Tiny movement, okay? By the way, even if you're not pregnant, anytime we're doing 90-90 hip work in one of my mobility classes or another Pilates class, elevating one hip on a block is always an option. If you have tight hips, it is a great way to give yourself a little more room so that you can actually do the movement. Like if you get into a 90-90 position sitting on the floor and you're like, I literally can't move my back leg at all, try this, okay? It helps a lot. Don't force your body to do something that is not working for it. Instead, just modify the exercise so that it works for your body. We're not just flapping the knee up and down. You're really thinking lift, squeeze. So it's that little pause at the top. Feel those deep hip rotators and then lower. One of the most uncomfortable things so far anyway about pregnancy for me has been sleeping on my side. I'm a back sleeper normally, and my hips, I just cannot find a comfortable way to sleep on my side without my hips bothering me. So I really wanted to incorporate some hip joint TLC in today's class. Next time that knee lifts up, we're going to do our hold. So it lifts up, we hold. We haven't rolled open through the hips, so they are square. Think wrap, wrap, wrap that thigh outward. Notice if the knee is wanting to gradually droop down. Keep it up, keep it up. We'll do the opposite movement up next. We'll do internal rotation. Knee will stay down, foot will lift up. I know these movements are a little funky. Hold 3, 2, ooh, got a little shake there. 1, lower the knee down. Just make sure you're open through the front of the hip and stacked as best you can. And now on an exhale, knee stays down, foot lifts up. So there are other reasons to incorporate a lot of hip work into these classes besides me selfishly not sleeping well. The hip joint is directly connected to the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor attaches kind of on the inside of the hip joint. So a mobile, strong, stable hip joint, that all translates to a better functioning pelvic floor, which is one of our primary focuses throughout pregnancy and postpartum work. Should be a focus when you're not pregnant as well. But I know that it does take a lot of people, a lot of women of pregnancy to even really think about the pelvic floor. I know I honestly didn't think about mine until I started having issues. I was in my 20s and I was noticing that when I jumped on a trampoline with my nephews and niece, I would leak. And I was like, wait a minute, I haven't had a kid. Why am I having these problems? So pelvic floor dysfunction does not just pertain to pregnant and postpartum women. Something we should all be mindful of. Next time that foot lifts up, we're going to hold the internal rotation. Lift and hold. So really squeeze. Think of wrapping the thigh inward. We're not slumping down into this bottom shoulder, we're lifted. We'll lower the foot down, we'll do parallel lifts in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower it down. Okay, so you might need to walk your hand out a little further for this one. Find the angle that works best for you. Exhale, whole leg lifts up parallel, getting the abductors here. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift and squeeze, so it's that little pause at the top. And lower. Think of reaching long through the leg and up. As the leg lifts up, we don't collapse into our bottom side body, so we're staying lifted. We have a hold coming up in 4, 3, 2. We have that hold, reach long through the leg and lifted. We're open through the front of the hip, so we're engaged through the glutes, but without arching into the lower back, so connected to the core. Hips are stacked one on top of the other as best you can. You may find yourself rolling open a little bit depending on the size of your bump. So the leg will kick straight and you can bend into the elbow a little bit as we do it, and then we will rock upright. That slow, controlled rock. Length through the leg and up. We'll kick it straight in 4, 3, 2, 1. You're going to kick that leg straight. It is still at a hover. Now we're going to press off this bottom arm. As you exhale, you're going to bend the knee. Keep it at a hover as long as you can, and then you can let that left leg come to the ground. Stay for an inhale, exhale. Lift to the pelvic floor, connect to the core, rock it back, kick the leg straight. Stay for an inhale. Move on the exhale, it's slow. So you don't want to push off the bottom arm too hard, which I just did, because we want to keep this knee at a hover as long as we can. Hover, hover, still to hover, still to hover, and then it comes down. Twice more, and then we go into our mermaid work. Last time. And bring it up to seated. So we're going to go into mermaid work. Knees at 90-90, or you can pull the feet in. We'll start with that side bend. So square through the hips, open through the chest, right fingertips will tend to the ground. Inhale, sweep the left overhead. And then as you exhale, connect to those left side obliques to bring yourself up. So I want minimal pushing off of the right hand. Instead of pushing off the right hand, think pull with the left side obliques. And the left side hip, glutes are not off the hook. They're working to support us in this position. So as you come upright, you'll feel that contraction through them. Next time we come into the side bend, we are going to hold. So we come into our side bend. Don't go super low with this. The arm can be overhead, or if this is too much, bring the arm in a T shape instead, a little less intense, or into your heart center, even less intense. As you exhale, you know the deal. We're pulling that support arm away. Inhale, return it. Notice the work that your left side glutes are doing. It's obliques, yes, but it's this whole side line of our body. We have a hold to finish up our side body work. Almost done with class. In 3, we will hold. 2. Next time the support hand pulls away, hold. Remove the support. If this is too much, keep the fingertips down. You can also always adjust the position of the top arm. Hold here. Right hand will come down, side body stretch in 4, 3, 2, 1. Support hand comes down. Side bend, kind of pushing up. And it might feel good to rotate, open and close a little bit. If that doesn't feel good, just side bend. Let's do that windshield wiper one more time. So you're going to scoot your bum into the center of the block. Lean back, hands support you, feet are wide, and let's just windshield wiper those knees side to side, a little bit of release. Okay, we're going to center off with one more 60-ish second round of those bear plank lifts and squeezes, and then we cool it down. So I want you to cross at the ankles. We'll come through to a tabletop, and again, we want that block, it can be medium height, between your knees, but don't squeeze them at the bottom. Tuck the toes under, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. As you exhale, lift the pelvic floor, brace the core, squeeze the block, picking it up to a hover. Lower it down, knees come down. Inhale. Remember your modification. If this is a little too much, it's putting too much pressure out or down. Then I want you to just shoulder tap instead, keeping your knees on the mat. Otherwise, you have a little under 40 seconds, just moving with your breath, centering off, connecting to the core and the adductors. Let's go 3 more. Make sure in between reps, you're really letting the pelvic floor relax, and then exhale, lift. Final time, up and down. Let's come to a comfortable cross-legged position. You can grab the block and move it behind you so that you are sitting up on it. And I should turn to face you. And then you can cross the ankles. I would, instead of crossing them, have one all the way in front of the other. It's probably going to be a little more comfortable. And let's just cool it down. So let's start with some neck circles. You're going to bring the right ear to the right shoulder. Circle it down, chin to chest, and then come to the other side. Left ear to left shoulder and reverse it. You can stay here in this half circle, or you can take it into a full circle, bringing the head back, only if that's comfortable. Half circle is kind of where I am feeling good and safe today. If you are someone who has a forward neck position, a forward head position, which I do, sometimes that going back is just a little too much pressure. You got to sort of first slide your head back into alignment before that movement feels okay. Next time you have right ear to right shoulder, I just want you to pause there, and then I want you to take your opposite left arm and reach it down as if you're trying to tap the heel of your hand to the floor. One more breath here. And now let's do the other side. Left ear to left shoulder, and then we take the opposite right arm, reach it down like you're trying to tap the heel of your hand to the floor. One more breath. Coming up tall and through center, hands on knees. Just give me some shoulder shrugs back. And some forward. And then we're just going to finish with a moment of stillness. So we're open through the chest, we're upright, hands can be on knees. You can close your eyes if you'd like. Don't overthink the breathing. I just want you to check in, do a little body scan. How are you feeling? When you're ready, you can open your eyes if they were closed. That is your class. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm feeling really good after that. If you enjoyed class, which I hope you did, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Throughout the duration of my pregnancy, I'll be posting prenatal Pilates classes every Tuesday and Thursday, and I'm so excited to share these with you. Another way you can show your support is by sharing these videos with a friend, a family member, someone you think would enjoy them. You can also support me through Super Thanks. It's like YouTube's version of tipping. It's a button on the bottom bar of the video. It's a heart with a dollar sign in the center. And those are so, so appreciative. Thank you. Some of you consistently always leave Super Thanks, and it does not go unnoticed. I'm so appreciative of you as I continue to work to grow my channel to a point where I don't need to ask for Super Thanks. That day's not here yet though. All right, let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you next time.